Without a vision, the people perish. Vision is the nitroglycerin of motivation. Vision is the nitroglycerin of desire. What is vision? Vision is being able to see. It's being able to see the value of the chair. For instance, one time, just using the auction example, a friend of mine was talking about he was at an auction, saw a gun, and somebody bought it for $800, and they were excited about it. Even though it was an old gun, you probably could have bought it at a sporting goods store, what appeared to be a similar one, for $500 or $600. But this guy was excited to buy it for only $800 because he knew from his vision, I mean, not just woo type of vision, but from his research, God, that sounded nice, from his research, that gun was worth $5,000. So are you developing a vision for what you are worth? Are you developing a vision for what you are worth? Are you developing a vision for what God is calling you to do? Our mind has 100 billion neurons, billion with a B, waiting to be programmed. Who created our mind? God did. Sometimes the New Agers try to steal our mind, but in reality, it's Christ that created our mind. So as Christians, we need to say, Lord, you're the one that created my mind. I'm giving you credit for it. So we need to say, Lord, you created my mind. What am I doing with it? How do I program it to serve you? And so as Christians, we offer that to Him. We say, okay, I can have a great computer, but if I don't program it correctly, what's it worth? So we just submit ourselves to the Lord and just say, program my mind. And one of the things through vision is we set goals. How many of you have set goals? Good. That's awesome. Do you see them clearly? I can see clearly. I'm a terrible singer. Do you know that I'm a creative singer? When I sing, I create notes that did not previously exist. How many of you can see, taste, touch, and hear your goal? Do you put all 5 senses into your goal? Or at least to the best of your ability. And turn to your neighbor and say, you are 6 inches from your greatest achievements.
You are 6 inches from your greatest achievements.
And now say, I am only 6 inches from my greatest achievements.
True. Oh my goodness.
And obviously I'm talking about the 6 inches between our temples. And some of I have a little bit more thicker skull than others. But obviously I'm talking about the 6 inches between our temples that God created us to have. And I first became cognizant of this. I first became aware of this as a 6-year-old. Has anybody in here ever been 6 years old?
Yep.
Okay. Just making sure, you never know.
Still, no.
But as a 6-year-old,
I just went straight to 7.
my dad and I were out irrigating on our farm. I was in my blue jeans, probably my Sears Wrangler green jeans or blue jeans, whatever color they were. My cowboy boots, my tank top from Sears with blue stripes around it. And my dad and neighbor Richard, they were talking, and I was like most 6-year-olds on the farm. Is anybody here from the farm? Good. Just, you ever irrigated? You don't? You're lucky. But we're not irrigating with siphon tubes. Hardly anybody uses, virtually no one uses siphon tubes anymore. You go up there, the water goes, and once again, sound effects are everything. But anyway, I'm throwing pods, I'm trying to catch frogs, whatever it is us 6-year-old boys do. And suddenly, the conversation of my dad and Richard switches, capturing my attention. Richard talks about serving in World War II as a Marine. They were fighting the Japanese. He's laying among his other fellow American Marines. He's the only one living. A Japanese comes up to him, kicks him in the ribs, and pokes him with a bayonet. He does not move, breathe, or yell. He plays dead. The power of life and death, the power of success and failure, the power of succeeding everyday life is the 6 inches between our temples and how we respond to God. It's not about us in terms of our 6 inches. It's about what we do in here in terms of our response to God. I'm not saying Richard had any less or any more faith than anybody else, but he was responding to God for his will in Richard's life. And one of the Japanese had been going around, and what they were doing is, and I verified, I saw Richard's son here 2 or 3 years ago, and it was Richard's granddaughter, was the only girl that I beat in that race. So anyway, we go back a long ways. But I saw Richard's son here a couple years ago, and I said, I've been telling the story, I want to make sure I'm telling it accurately. And so I am. But this Japanese guy had been going around putting his bayonet through the other Americans, making sure they were dead, putting in their heart or whatever, kind of like, on the cross, breaking their legs or stabbing them. And he was even though he poked Richard, he was just about ready to put that bayonet through him when his commander said, "How do you know?" How do you speak Japanese? Called him over, and they went on their way, and I don't remember how he got out of there, but he did. And that helped me understand the power of the 6 inches. But here's something else that I've recently it's one of those lessons that's been right there, but for some reason I hadn't seen it until recently. Do you ever feel like you're on the verge of collapse? Do you ever feel or wonder if you can continue on? Do you ever feel like your relationships, whether it be with your friends, whether it be with another gal or another guy, whether you're dating, or I don't know if any of you are married or engaged, or whether it be with your parents or relatives, or whether it be your finances, or whether it be your school or your athletics, or sometimes you may wonder with your relationship with God, even though He's right there. But do you ever feel like somebody's just about ready to just put a knife through you? You just think, I don't know how I'm going to go on. You think, this is it. There is no way out of this situation. Can the same God that caused that Japanese commander to call off the soldier, call off the forces that are trying to kill you, either literally or proverbially? Whatever that word is. Mouth gets sticky. Literally or proverbially. Figuratively. Thank you. If God can call off the Japanese soldier from putting a bayonet through Richard, can He call off the forces trying to get you down? Now, I don't know for a fact, but is it very possible and is it very likely there were people praying for Richard in that moment? Or at least near there. And they probably had no idea. And I feel it very strongly on my heart to say this. There are people praying for each and every one of you at this moment. And if I'm wrong, Lord, forgive me, but I feel very strongly about saying that. There are people praying for each and every one of you right now. I don't know what your battle is, but you do. For some of us, it might be very serious. I mean, it's all serious. For some of us, it may not be quite. Regardless,